welcome to the Bear Bryant Show. We're glad you could join our review of the exciting action of your University of Alabama's Crimson Tide football. The Bear Bryant Show is brought to you by your local Coca-Cola bottler. Have a Coke and a smile. And by the crisp, fresh Golden Flake family of snacks. Now let's take a look at this week's game, Alabama versus Kentucky, with comments by Coach Paul Bear Bryant and me, Charlie Thornton.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to the Bear Bryant Show. Brought to you by Ice Cold Coca-Cola and the Golden Flake family of snacks. Today, instead of opening the bag of the chips, which I'll do after a while, we have a cake that is presented by Luke Cranford of Coca-Cola and Sloan Bushinsky on behalf of all the employees of Golden Flake and Coca-Cola. Coach, to you, commemorating your 300th victory over the University of Kentucky, 45-0.
Well, we appreciate it very much, but it's not really large enough because it was there 65 people, 64 of them won the game. All the coaches said, but we do appreciate it very much. I thought Sloan and Luke would get a giggle out of that back there someplace, but I guess not. Anyway, it's very happy to win the game. We have an unusual bunch of young people there. They're real special people, and I told them in the dressing room after the game, and I mean it. You know, I always plan what I'm going to say. And if they lost the game, I was going to say, I don't blame you a bit. I wouldn't play it either. All of hoop-la-la, 300 this, 300, that's all you could hear last week. And all I could hear, and of course the thing that I was worried about was I didn't think that. I thought they knew me better than that, but I was afraid they'd think that I thought I was winning some of these games. And now I have the other side of the stick. There's 88 losses. It was 87 or 78 or something. I fully accept that responsibility, but I was highly pleased with our team. First place, they put the goose egg up there, which they like to do, and then they scored a lot of points. And I thought they played much better than we played this year. We did in some areas, we didn't, but overall, I think we played better than we did this year. Kentucky is a good, tough football team. They're crippled up, and they don't have as many players as I thought they had, but they will hit you, and they knew what they were doing. They had a great plan for us, particularly the first half, and we moved the ball fairly well the first half. Well, the defense, really. The defense took charge the first half, gave us the ball in great field position, and we couldn't get much going. And that was because Kentucky was just doing a good job. And, of course, we do have what I think is a great field goal combination. Center holding kicker and Peter Kim, and that got us going there for a while. And then another thing, was a real big play there in the first of the game when we had so much trouble was a two-point conversion when we go from 12 to 14 in one lump. Well, that helped a great deal. But our execution wasn't as well as it's been. But outside of that, I thought we played well. We had some, I haven't seen the film or graded the film, but I couldn't help but see some people play well. And Lenny Patrick ran real well, and I couldn't help but see that. I certainly couldn't help but see Alan Gray, I thought ran the team better than anyone else. And before the game, we hadn't planned to play Alan unless we had to have him, but he had been injured. And then finally started when they hadn't played him, and then we still had about 8 or 9 minutes. And I was going to let him get a good bunch of it since he's doing so well. And now someone said to him, boy, we got him hurt now after he's doing so well. So I told Alan why we weren't going to play him anymore. We got to look at all of our quarterbacks. But I think that they showed a lot of pride. I thought they got stronger as the game went along. I thought our defense did much, much better. They contained them pretty well. They put the rush on the passer. And our secondary played much better. We still, a time or two, tackled at the ankles, which is not good. And our kicking game was, I should have said that first, was the outstanding thing of the game. Our kicking off was far high. They even caught 1 or 2 of them. And our coverage was good. And our punting was fine. And Major Over dropped 1 punt. I don't think I ever saw him drop one in a game before. And he said something to me about the ball took a dip on him. Something happened, I'll tell you that. Well, he don't drop punts. But anyway, I'm tremendously proud of him and happy for him for winning. And the number of the games they won is 4. And we're going for number 5, then number 6, number 7. And I don't want to quit thinking about this other stuff, and I hope people will let me quit thinking about it, because I got other things to do. And I spent all last week answering calls and this and that and other about that. Well, so we're going for number 5, and it's going to be played up in New York, New Jersey, and they're undefeated. They're a very strong football team. As you check the record, you'll find out. But anyway, we hopefully will get our people a little weller, those that are injured, and we'll get a little better. And a little better the next week, and we better be a whole lot better the next week. But anyway, Charlie, let's get into the...
All right, Coach, well, we'll be back for the first quarter of action following this important message from our sponsors.
I'm walking into the kitchen. Now, open up the refrigerator door, and I look way in the back behind the mayonnaise. I spy me an icy bottle of Coke. I pops it open. When that ice-cold Coke hits the back of my throat.
A Coke and a smile makes me feel good, makes me feel nice. Have a Coke and a smile.
That's the real thing.
You know one of the best things about living in the South is eating in the South. And nobody makes fried chicken like we can. Potato chip neither. Golden Flake here is our kind of potato chip. Made the way we like them. Crisp, light, with our kind of crunch. Southern fried crunch. And can't nobody nowhere beat Southern fried crunch. Shoot, no. Golden Flake, the only chips with Southern fried crunch.
They won the toss and chose to receive, and that really suited me. The wind was strong yesterday. As we won the toss, we were going to defend the goal, hoping, of course, that we'd kick the ball in the end zone and stop them down there. And, you know, as well as they did there, and I'm not taking anything away from them, that guy had broken one tackle to the outside. There wasn't anybody else out there. But the wind, our kicking game was good all day, and that kind of fine play there with Randy Scott. And we didn't start Brian Bragg. He only played just a little, but I think he did well. And I hope and pray he got out without being injured. Maybe next week he'd be well. Got a good rush on the kicker there. And we had a real good break. They kicked it out of bounds, and boom, we ought to have this one in there before we line up. But we don't. We threw out the flag. They really reacted to that well. We had 2 men out there to block. Neither one of them blocked anybody. And they had Jesse Bendros. They run the better play there. Gave the ball off Jackson. Motzitz and Allison and Cowell at guard. Here comes a good play. Kaviak and McComb tackled, and Bart Crouch at tight end, and Bendros at left end.
Don Jacobs got 13 and a first down to the 15.
Jacobs run the sweep the other way this time. Our point of attack blocking was good, but we didn't have one upfield, though. Joe Jones picked up a little yardage. Put out backfield, slid into the sideline, and Jacobs doesn't get anything there. They played it very well. Kentucky Wildcats. That was a third down play and a very poor one. They threw us a great one for them. They threw us for a loss. So Holcomb snaps her back. The whole line blocked. The entire team, I should say. And Woody Humphries held it, and Peter Kim kicked it through.
28-yard field goal by Peter Kim.
Kenny Clark kicked off almost out of the end zone then. And that fellow's having a hard time. That man could kick off, too. And his daddy was one of my captains when I lived there, John Griggs. As a matter of fact, he came by to see me yesterday.
Ricky Tucker knocked the receiver out.
Ricky was injured a little in the game. He went back. 2 tight ends. They used a lot of 2 tight ends and split backfield most of the way. Real big play there by Tommy Wilcox. On a safety blitz, he threw him for a big loss.
Loss of 15 brings up 4th and 18. Here's the one that dropped on him the last.
He came back up with the ball. I thought the guy knocked him loose in the ball. But you know, play kicking there, Charlie, when you have big yardage, but always frightened me is running into the kicker. Back to pass. Nice protection. Beautiful pass to John Jacobs. Jesse Bendrose, the freshman.
34-yard gain down to the 21. We're going to see a replay.
Our plans going into the game was to throw the football and throw the football. We get out there and stumble around, and I'm criticizing myself, and Mel and I talk, and anytime we get something out there, it's too late. Jacobs back to pass again, and Bendrose, watch him jump now. I tell him that every day in practice. You didn't have to jump. He kept his feet on the ground. He caught the football. If he ever quit that jumping, he'll be a great receiver, but he's just going to be a good receiver as he is. Another pass down the middle. He's well covered to Bart Trout then, so I think it's a good idea to go ahead and throw it all, as long as we're in field goal range, don't get a loss, throw it, try to score. They covered this very well. That was a fullback, slipped out of the backfield, but they had more area there where they could have dropped deeper. You might have had a chance. So same combination, Holcomb snapping it back, the little man Humphreys holding, and Peter Kim kick it. You know, I always get a thrill out of seeing those two little fellas run off the field together. They're not big well, they're fine young gentlemen, but they're too small to be playing football. You have to have the privilege of playing them, playing on a good team. So let's take over.
Thomas Boyd made the stop.
Very nice catch there. It was out of bounds. Thomas will make a lot of stops. He's the one, I think he ran out of position on that long run, that quarterback. Have him back there again, reach for him, and he throws the football. It's intercepted for Jim Bob Harris. Jim Bob's a real fine center fielder. You don't just reach for him like that. You're off balance. And the effort's good. They immediately tackled Jim Bob. Jim Bob was hurt later in the game, and I don't really know. I didn't get to see. I had to leave early this morning. I didn't get to see these three up. He probably hadn't seen them. Matter of fact, on Sunday, well, all days, I'm getting up when I'm going to bed. As a belly play, we're not executing real well. Here comes a sweep throwback pass. Mark Nix is a high school quarterback, throwing it back to Jacobs out here, and Jacobs, I thought, did a good job. Got loose from that man, going ahead and picked up 10, 12 more yards.
Got 18 yards out of it for first down.
Real big play. If we're going to go on in and get a touchdown, but we were fumbling around there. Full out backfield. Formation to the strong side of the field. They played it very well, and they shook Jacobs up. You see the man Gardner was going around guarding his pitch band, who happened to be Joe Jones. Sorry, good. Jacobs did a good job getting rid of that man this time, and Major Ogilvy picked up the first down, getting down in there close.
First and goal from the 8.
First and goal, Major right. That was fine, great effort then by Ogilvy on his block. I don't know, I didn't see anybody open on that. Here comes the end around. Earl Collins. Earl hadn't run that play enough. Tim Travis was cut right back in and been going up downhill then. And here comes another bad pitch, and Joe Jones, I don't know, I guess we lost this one.
Kentucky recovered on it.
Tim Collins could run that in around better than anybody we've had next to Ozzie. He's got his up quick and going upstream. When Earl learned that, he could score on a play like that.
Warren Lyles, Jackie Klein in on the stop.
Two fine football players. I think Jackie Klein is the most improved football player on our football team this year. In fact, I think he's a fine football player now. A year ago, he was very ordinary. That means he worked hard and put a lot into it. That means that Coach Donahue helped him some a lot, too. I thought our coaches did an excellent job preparation for the game. both offensively and defensively.
Paul Fields is in at quarterback now, Coach.
Well, I sent Paul out there to do some things, and he's a good little athlete. He's going to be a fine quarterback, I'll tell you that. He just hadn't had any work. Had good protection here. And I don't know whether he overthrew his man or not. It looked like now they quit on it. Anyway, if he led him a little more to the inside, he could run into it. Paul had very little work, quarterback. He had a sore finger on a thumb on top of that. But he's going to get some work. We're hitting a little better on defense. Just watching, you can see when they come over, we hear the grab. Very easy. A lot of great difference in hitting and catching.
Klein and Scott led the charge on that one.
Here he comes. Now there comes, I believe, I'm not being critical of him either. I think Boyd got a little inside and got outside of him. He's caught with Jim Bob Harris. Jim Bob's a junior from Athens, Georgia. And Boyd, of course, is from Columbus. That was a nice pass he completed there. So Alabama 6, Kentucky zip in the first quarter.
When we Southerners get together, it's a special way of being together, a time when hospitality really shines through. That's why we want the food to be so special, from the garden fresh vegetables to the Golden Flake potato chips. Oh yes, Golden Flake makes real Southern potato chips, crisp and light. Golden Flake's the only chips with Southern fried crunch. If you serve Southern hospitality at your table, serve Golden Flake potato chips, the only chips with Southern fried crunch.
You can get a lot of options on a new car. But for my money, the best option isn't on my car. It's at my bank. I got a simple interest loan at Central Bank. So if I make a payment early, I save money. Most banks don't give me that option. Plus, Central's open on Saturdays. And they give preferred loan rates to their checking and savings customers. I can't afford to pass up options like those. When it comes to my cars or my bank, I like to have my options.
Coach, I believe you got a phone call from the White House just before we went on the air today.
Well, I've actually tried to sense the game everywhere I went. I got home there on and said some idiot was calling me playing like he's from the White House. Did the same thing at the office. And I didn't think anything like that was happening. Anyway, I got it here and finally answered, and it was President Carter. And I appreciate it very much. He wanted to congratulate our players and our assistant coaches and everybody that had anything to do with winning all those games. And he didn't congratulate me. Well, he did too, but he invited me to come by the White House to see him. I don't know, I feel a little out of place, but anyway, we deeply appreciate it and highly flattered that Mr. Carter would call, and I know that each and every one of our players and coaches and managers and trainers and everyone that had anything to do with football will appreciate it. And, but as I say, I'd have been on that phone trying to call him back in a hurry. If I'd have thought knowing it was him last night, there'd been a call from the FBI or something, I'd answered. I thought they might be looking for me.
Coach, let's go on into the second quarter of action.
Second quarter, that 6-0 lead doesn't look all that good, but getting down close now. Comes out to pass. They had to rush on him, and he caught it up. I tell you, the quarterback did an excellent job then in getting rid of that ball and throwing it softened where he could catch it. Then Mike came up and tackled him around his ankle. You don't tackle a man out and open around his ankle, Mike. You got to catch him up in the breadbasket where he lives. Pick those ankles up. Very fine defensive playing in there now. Both linebackers are in on it, and I believe Lyles was.
Kentucky recovers a snap from center, and then they have a miscue.
They have another miscue here, and Griggs is back to kick, and
Joey Jones.
They're coming on up the field there. I hope we scored a touchdown on a punt like that once against Auburn when it was illegal to roll the ball. Bill Barron, Leroy, Butch Wilson, a bunch of them just rolled it all the way about 40 yards.
Jacobs gets 3 after the 19.
Both ends are out this time. Jake's back to pass.
Jesse Bendros.
Fine catch for Jesse then.
First down, gain 11.
Jesse's a freshman. We have several freshmen to play in. Our line, you can watch and see what's happening. Our line coming off the ball pretty well. See there, they came off the ball well. When you see an opening between that neutral zone and they came off the ball well then. A real fine block out there. I believe that's Lenny Patrick. Great block with Lenny Patrick. Then we have another missed ball handle.
You're going to see a replay of it.
First place, they were too close together. There's that fine block by Patrick. There's another down there trying to make a block, Bendros. They're a little too close together. Although I think Major should have handled the ball, and he'd tell you that first. Jake back to pass. Don Jacobs back to pass after having faked it. Now, we faked the belly play there, and we had 3 men back there covering 1 man. Now, what we did, but we sure didn't look like the belly play. There wouldn't have been anybody back there but 1 man. Fine running there, but Ken Coley, he's the quarterback now. I want somebody in there. I'm trying. Boy, son, that Bear dead end. They had 2 men blocking on him. I don't know why. We don't have a play where. So we're kicking out punt formation again. Holcomb snaps it back. Humphrey does a kicking. This is a beautiful kick. He's a fine little kicker, I'll tell you. And we have his brother down there for next year. I got to start his brother. I got to wait and look at it. I haven't seen whether he's holding extra points or not. So Kentucky's backed up where you don't like to be, operating in that end zone, but the easiest way to get out of there was throwing the football. But it didn't work this time because that's Tommy Wilcox who caught the ball, intercepted it. Tommy's from New Orleans. Tommy, fine football player. Real fine game, I think, yesterday. Every time I say someone played well and I see the film, they didn't. There's some more of our operation that didn't go very well. We got to be ready. Expect it hard. That's what we mean, the end charging hard down the line. Every play. And that's what you want him to do as far as getting ready to the ball if you're ready.
Junior really put the pressure on and forced a bad throw on that one.
E.J. Jr. from Nashville. E.J. was one of our captains yesterday. That Jim Bobbass back there playing center field. He's got the best knack of anybody we have of watching that pass and going to football. He must have played in high school that way. I was trying to pick up some blockers here. Saw Tommy Bell yesterday, old National League official. He quit officiating in the National League and looks young. I started him officiating when he used to officiate our scrimmages up there. We were laughing about that. Real fine people.
Major Ogilvy got 8 yards. I brought back with 4 yards.
Major Ogilvy, a great football player, I'll tell you that. Joe Jones running with the ball there. Joe gives it all he's got. Emory Clark, one of my little guys, came by and seen me yesterday. I'll never forget Joe Jones replay. He was playing Georgia one time, and Emory was playing safety, caught the field of the ball. And it just all over him. He just kind of ducked when he did. All those big guys went over his head, and he ran up the middle, 60 yards of touchdown, and win the game. He went to Auburn. Emory Clark went to Auburn and get his veterinary medicine degree. Wide open there. We don't get him in football. That's Bendros again. I don't know who the left halfback was then.
Joe Jones.
Joe Jones, he didn't block him, but he shielded 2 men. Drake is going in there close to the goal line. A guy who Bendros had already blocked Then Jesse made a block there, but he blocked him a little soon. He had time to recover. So they're on the 1 or 2 yard line now. One of our linemen moved out very, very well. I believe that was... The ball moved out pretty doggone well. Combe and Allison. I believe Larry Brown was in there at the time.
Coach, you're going for 2.
Go for the 2 this time. Put the full back in motion. 3 men out. The same pass that that Florida State tied us out here with. So now it's 14. That's Bart Kraut. 3 men out. Flood the zone. They picked up Bajer coming out. Bajer was the #1 target. They picked him up immediately. Alabama 14, Kentucky zip. Then the second quarter.
Mr. Green? Mr. Green?
Yeah.
You need any help? I just want you to know, I think you're the best ever.
Yeah, sure.
Want my Coke? Okay, you can have it.
No.
Really, you can have it.
Okay.
A Coke and a smile makes me feel good. Makes me feel nice.
Be around.
That's the way it should be. I like to see
Hey, kid.
the whole world smiling with me. Coca-Cola and life. Have a Coke and
Thanks, Mean Joe.
smile.
Coach, I know that our JV team defeated Fort Benning
Oh, yeah.
30-some-odd days the other night, and I really hadn't seen the details of the game. I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to Coach Willis or not.
I talked with the coaches about it, and they said they played real, real well. They went after them real well, and both our quarterbacks have played exceptionally well, and Andy Martin, and what really pleased me because he'd been hurt, and I don't see how in the world he could have been in shape to run 3 times, but they said Rodriguez ran real well. And Davis from where I was interested in, Davis from down in New Orleans said he played well. And
Bruce Davis.
McCarthy rushed the passer well, but kind of like a sideshow.
Yeah.
They were having a lot of fun. They was only going into the shotgun, and it made it. You go in that shotgun, you got arrested all night. It's short ended as they were, but anyway, I'm real proud of them. I'm tremendously proud of all of them, and going down there, some of those guys probably old enough to be there just playing again.
Some 38, 40-year-old men playing on that team.
Sure. You know, Charlie, one thing I wanted to say, I was thinking about it this morning, and I sure miss Tyne Davis. Tyne Davis was a warm friend of mine. He was a great person. He was a great humanitarian. And I think everybody in the state will be missing for long, but I certainly hope Miss Davis and the family are getting along all right. And I miss seeing him around.
Sure do.
He's a wonderful person.
In this week's University feature, we'll see some of the many activities that we can look forward to the last weekend of this month when we celebrate homecoming at the University of Alabama.
Make your plans right now to be a part of homecoming at the University of Alabama the last weekend in October. Lots of people will be working hard between now and then to make it a fun-filled weekend. Campus buildings will be decorated. We'll have a pep rally on the Friday night before the homecoming football game. It's sure to get every Bama fan excited. Dozens of roll tides, a giant bonfire, fireworks, and fun for everybody. An event that thousands of people look forward to every year is the homecoming parade. That's Saturday morning before the game, and we hope you're here to see all the floats and the bands and everything that makes the parade special. The theme for Homecoming 1980 is All That Jazz. Steve Sample and the University Jazz Ensemble will be playing jazz on the quad while thousands of Bama supporters enjoy a picnic under a huge circus tent. Then the football game, as the Tide makes Southern Mississippi University another stepping stone along the way toward Coach Bryant becoming the winningest college football coach in history. At halftime of the game, we'll crown a homecoming queen to succeed last year's queen, Cammie Williams of Gadsden. Don't miss homecoming and All That Jazz the last weekend in October right here in Tuscaloosa at the University of Alabama.
Hey, was that the governor I saw at our game kissing that girl?
Yes, sir. That was a governor.
He picked a good looking.
The homecoming is with Southern Mississippi coming up, and I believe it's on October the 25th. And Southern Mississippi.
I tell you that Southern Mississippi
It'll be a formal
team,
beat Ole Miss yesterday, and they're undefeated and 4-0 on the season now, Coach.
One thing, Charlie, I want to mention is Bill Wheeler played tackle for us at Kentucky when I was there. Real fine player, and of course he's doctor, and he's Kentucky's doctor. I got to visit him a long time yesterday. Yeah, he came back.
Let's get on into the third quarter of action. And Kentucky will be kicking off.
You know one of the best things about living in the South is eating in the South. Can't nobody make fried chicken like we can. Potato chip neither. Golden Flake here is our kind of potato chip. Made the way we like them, crisp, light, with our kind of crunch. Southern fried crunch. And can't nobody nowhere beat Southern fried crunch. Shoot, no. Golden Flake, the only chips for Southern fried crunch.
Do you speak English? Parlez-vous français? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola?
Yeah, Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
You don't speak English?
Kentucky will kick off, start the second half, Coach.
Yeah, we have a choice, and of course they took the win, and that makes us get to win the fourth quarter. That's what we want. They kicked as well too. You know, I like the attitude of our team at the half. They weren't having a lot to say. That's Billy Jackson running the football there, but they all recognize the fact that they had to go out there and impress Kentucky, and they had to go out there and put some points on the board to kind of alert other people with football. And we couldn't be doing what we've been doing, and I think they had their mind made up to that, and pretty well came back and did it. I'm real proud of it. Well, we have two fine little receivers on our team, two fine little football players, and Jones and White, but they're so short, they make such poor targets. You got to have a standard ball or somebody to hit them. But they're good little football players, and they help in all kind of ways. They run a different pattern or a route if you ask them to. They work on the kicking game, play on the kicking team. That fellow's a fair signal for fair catch, I think, because he has a right to the ball either way. And that was very close.
Warren Lyles made the recovery,
They're running a sweep in, and the thing kept worrying me about that faking that sweep and coming on outside. That's Ken Cole, this is quarterback now. I was hoping Ken could take him in there. They give him a little room, he'll take him in there. Billy Jackson running with the ball. Their plan was cut our fullback off the first half. Wasn't going to let our fullbacks do anything. And they played that play perfect. Perfect. And the other thing they'd planned to do was to overshift to our left toward where Major runs the most. A quick screen in. I believe it was Mark Nixon. I guess it's Joe Jones. In Coley, back to pass again. Another quick screen out to Major. Yeah, I tell you, this secondary people move around. They don't stand around waiting on you. So with fourth down now, we go for the field goal again. Holcomb and Dasher snaps it back. I don't know which one it was now. Humphreys did the holding, and Peter Kim kicked the field goal. Timmy Clark kicking off again. I hope those things are playing like tonight, Charlie. It goes to Honolulu. Maybe they might. They're moving the ball a little on us there now. There again, we got to get tougher. Warren Lyles came across and put his hand on him like he's supposed to. We got to play our entire group. I was highly pleased late in the game, not late in the game, in the fourth quarter. Put the entire alternate unit in there, and some of them usually just try to slip them in and out one at a time. But they had a nice race there, and could have been in grounding the ball. And they just kept doing so well, just left them in there, and they played the rest of the game. Everyone played with the exception of Jeremiah Castile, who was injured.
Alan Gray, any quarterback, start the series for Alabama.
Alan Gray had a fine day, too. He knows what he's doing, and he has something to run around his ribs hurt. Bingo, a fine tackle in by that man, I'll tell you. Full out backfield. Comes the veer again. Adam fixes it out just like taking candy from a baby. Be quick with your hand. Quick with your mind, with your feet in your hand. Adam keeps it up, that ball up.
Here comes a long run. Benny Patrick, 60 yards.
Comes a sweep. Ferguson made a block on the end. We got somebody running down there. He actually thought the guy was going to catch it, and he probably would have, but if he's going on block the other end, he might have scored. Then he gave out on the play. Ferguson running with the football there. I thought our line came off the ball quite well. Mitch Ferguson from Phoenix City, Alabama. From Augusta, Georgia. Gee, a little difference there.
Up and over for the score.
Benny Patrick from Jasper followed Bramlett. Bob Brown is in there now. No, Bramlett and Bill Searcy and Brown for the score.
They're playing Larry at offensive tackle and tight end.
And tight end, he played both. That makes him a very important man, does. He's getting to be better all the time, too. Larry is quick for a tackle, and he's not a bad end. And playing both positions, and with that traveling limit, people injured, it really makes it. Well, great coverage then. Jeff Fagan. Jeff, but he gets his.
And Darryl White was underneath it, too.
He and Ken Simon were the best coverage men we had last year, and Ken hadn't covered it down yet. He was in to have a bad toe in that calcium deposit. I think well covered back there then. Did a little race. They're keeping those two ends tight most of the time. He's outside of us this time. Bingo.
Tommy Wilcox, one of them in on the tackle. This is where I believe you put Eddie Lowe and Robbie Jones. They're in on the tackle on that play.
We didn't play Lowe a whole lot the first half because the mental mistakes he made last week, but I think he played well yesterday. I may be wrong.
But that was Richard Shin that knocked the pass down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Richard Shin, Castile, finally I had both of them in there, and Edwards at tackle. At nose guard. We had Russ Wood, Morrow. So they're kicking now.
Ken Coley's on the return.
Ken Coley, he didn't even caught the ball, but I really think he should have caught the ball too. Maybe he did.
Patrick gets 5 off the left side.
Still have Gray in there.
Mitchell Ferguson.
Fine running by Mitchell then. Mitch's a good fullback. He's also always hurt. He's been hurt ever since he's been here. He doesn't have, we can't count on somebody that's hurt. But Alabama 24, Kentucky zip, the end of the third quarter.
Central Bank sure saved me some money with their simple interest loans. Simple interest means I save money when I make an early payment, even just 2 or 3 days early. I only pay interest on the exact length of time I keep the money. It's really fair. So overall, when I pay early, I save money. When we borrowed enough to fix up the house, I saved enough to help pay for these golf clubs.
And wallpaper for the kitchen. Come on, Arnie.
Thanks, Central. I lost my weekend. But I saved some money.
When we Southerners get together, it's a special way of being together, a time when hospitality really shines through. That's why we want the food to be so special. From the garden fresh vegetables to the Golden Flake potato chips. Oh, yes, Golden Flake makes real Southern potato chips. Crisp and light. Golden Flake's the only chips with Southern fried crunch. If you serve Southern hospitality at your table, serve Golden Flake potato chips, the only chips with Southern fried crunch.
Coach, you know, before we get on into the fourth quarter, I know we played Rutgers this week in the Meadowlands and Giant Stadium, which is the stadium and complex that Sonny Wordman built. Just how did that series, the Alabama Rutgers?
Well, of course, as you said, as Sonny built that, they had a long time getting it through, getting the money of something like $230 or $260 million. And but Sonny is a director of the board of trustees at Rutgers, has been for years. He's always talked to me about Rutgers, and he's mad partner at me now because I won't stay over and go to the basketball game with him Saturday night, because when our team was up there playing in the NIT, he went and sit and brooded on our bench for that night. And I told him, Sonny, you mean you want me to we play Tennessee the next week? He said, well, you probably do better if you stay up here anyway. But anyway, we've been working on the game. We had a meeting in California 6 years ago, I guess. And we had this open date. And he got the director of athletics over to his house. I was his house guest, as a matter of fact. And we got together on these games, and we plan to play some more in the future. And we just under consideration of moving the possibility of going to play Penn State in there after they've been down here and we've been up there because it'd be neutral ground for both people. The only thing about it for us is if everything keeps getting higher and higher, the transportation and everything.
Coach, let's get on into the fourth quarter of action.
Fourth quarter, we like things about.
We've got a big first play of the fourth quarter.
Allen pitched it out there. Allen Gray, there's a nice block. It's kind of a timid block, but there's some fine running here, I'll tell you.
Earl Collins had a good block, too, started the play.
That's Ferguson blocking him in.
Cersei was over there.
Somebody had a rollback block there. Second running there.
38 yards.
I think Mitch Ferguson blocked. I think he was settled himself to keep from missing him, I think. That Bramlett was down there. That guard and tackle came off that ball in, I'll tell you. That's how we ran to.
I believe that was
Bramlett and
Cersei.
And Cersei. They really can't watch him again now. They came off. A guy got under Cersei, but
that was a touchdown play. Here's a replay.
There's a replay of it. Plenty of room.
Joe Robbins.
There. Joe Robbins' son.
Right.
Mitchell Ferguson scored a touchdown. I'm glad to see that. Mitch's a fine person. Got the worst muscles in the world. They're strong and they're weak and they tear and they do every kind of thing. Timmy Clark kicking off. And it was so high into that wind, not into the wind there because we got the wind, but it's so high that their man fair caught it. Tim got under it too much. That was a fine play if we hadn't flagged that in Woodrow. Eddie.
Stan Gay came in on the tackle.
Stan Gay had two fine plays, Charlie, and that was Eddie back there again. He's missing this time.
Loss of 11.
Eddie Lowe, his brother Woodrow Lowe, who played at Alabama and is playing with San Diego now. We almost Well, we did do that there where we should have hollered our code that tells us to stay away from the ball and load it and hear it. Try and play here, delayed pitch downfield, and you won't see some running but Jeff Fagan. You run over his people, our people, their people, and everybody's people to get to that goal end zone. Great play by Jeff Fagan. That line comes off the ball, too. Yeah, the guy knocked him down here. He's trying to keep him from getting the pitch. That slows him down just enough. They come into him, Gray up, and Gray just very wide to turn around and took both hands where he wouldn't foul it up. Got the ball out to Fagan, and he just kept running and running and running and running.
On that play, we get a lot of questions, but Fagan gets all the yardage. Because you can only have one ball carry on one play.
Oh, is that right? The only thing that worried me about is carrying that ball out there, afraid the fellow's going to grab it.
Either Kim kicks it.
Either Kim kicks again with Woody Holden. Of course, that's a team proposition. That's not a... You have to have the blocking, and you have to have a son give a perfect snap, and you have to have a perfect hold. And kicking is academic if you've got a swing.
Here we're going to score again, but then turn around about 10 seconds, 2 touchdowns.
Big fumble here, and the ball rolls into the end zone. Who made the tackle, Charlie?
I'm quite sure it was Randy Edwards, Coach.
Well, Randy Edwards caused the fumble. He caused
the fumble.
The touchdown ought to be rewarded. Pitts got the fell on it, but they should have that up some way because it never happened if Randy doesn't make it. That's when we have all our second, third group in there now. Nice kickoff again by Timmy Clark. Into the end zone.
Stan Gay out
there, but he's on his back. That's not the way you... That was good. All he got out of it. That's good pursuit by one of them, though. Getting outside again here, but Eddie Lowe had enough speed to get over there. He hit this outfield a little more than I thought. Gang tackling there, gang grabbing.
Danny Castillo was in on it.
I was glad to see Danny get in there. I'm glad to see any of them, but particularly ones who've been out there working a long time and got to play. They'll get good enough someday. They worked hard enough and last long enough. Pursuit is excellent there. Pursuit is excellent. A lot of youngsters in there that haven't played a great deal, too. Well, none of them played a great deal. Jim Coley caught the punt after a fast catch, and they interfered and got a penalty on us. It puts us up here, and now we have Paul Fields back at quarterback.
Joe Carter running.
And I didn't want him. This is a long time to have him in there. I don't want to be throwing the ball now, and I wanted Paul to throw the ball. So I really should have reversed it and put Lewis in there before him.
Paul Caruth running at halfback.
Paul did well running at halfback. He looked like he started off as slow, but he got some kind of power.